If you find the Sicilian defense annoying to face, this is the video for you. I'm GM Max, and here I'm going to show you a completely new system against the Sicilian, which I only learned about in the last months. But I used this move of H3 to defeat, at the time, the highest rated Blitz player on League Chess. And the fun thing with H3 is that you not only can play it here, but you can even play it against D6. Like, even Carlsen himself played this recently against Duda. The idea is that you just avoid the knight off. Like if a6, you just go a4. And you kind of delay this move of d4 until a bit later, where you kind of force them out of the usual like e5, and because now you can like take and sort of mess up their structure. Like you sort of say that the pawn a6 is fixed in as a weakness in a kind of old Soviet style along the way to getting your pieces out. And if they play some other moves like knight c6, d4, like again you're avoiding the knight off, as it were. If they go like g6 again, same point, you are avoiding the knight off, and you get, your own sort of position that you want to play, as it were, with like this h3 stopping any knight g4 nonsense. So that's how you can play against d6. Against knight c6, h3 is still playable, but maybe a little bit less effective compared to Rossolimo, which I did cover in one of my earlier videos about a month or so ago. But let's get into the move h3, and let me know in the comments below, like, what was your first response? Like, do you think that h3 was just like a joke move, like this can't possibly be good? Or like, what, if I can play h3 and still like beat my opponents, that would be like just the ultimate flex in a sense. But h3, I'm not just playing it purely for the surprise value, actually. There are some points to this move. Like if black plays a6 like a Khan Sicilian, well then I can play the move of c4 and kind of go back to a Morochi binds up, like wait for him to play knight c3, I go d4, and I mean, a6 just doesn't really help you in this sort of position, right? Whereas a3 does actually have some, some merit in the middle game. In the game, my opponent played knight to c6. One thing that a lot of my opponents have done online, actually, is they played the move d5, trying to hit in the center. But after takes, you can even just play d4 here and, put the bishop on b5, and what happens is you just get this quite nice position against the IQP, right? Like take, castle, and I mean, h3 is actually a pretty useful move here. You're stopping the move bishop g4, you've got some good piece pressure against d5, and I do think white is just slightly better in a position like this one, even objectively speaking. Rook's in the center, and you just play chess, right? But my opponent decided to play the move of a6 instead. If you are watching this from black's point of view, I'd suggest maybe queen b6, and stopping d4 might be a direction you might like to look. But okay, you play chess, it's a fun position for both sides. But he played the move a6, I played the move d4, having avoided some annoying things like the Scotch 4 knights. So if they do play like, or the Sicilian 4 knights, I should say. But if they do play something like knight f6, you can take and sort of make the point that, again, like in this sort of position, a6 actually hurts black, because it means I don't have the option to try and trade off their bad bishop. a3 is not the most useful move, but it does have some merits, as we get along toward, kicking their knight out of the center and so forth. My opponent played in a Taimanov style with queen to c7. I released the tension with knight c6, and most of my opponents do play bc6. So bishop d3, I just developed normally, castles, knight f6. Played this move of b3, trying to be a little bit creative. Probably looking back, I might play a move like rook e1 and queen f3 is maybe the approach I'd take in the future. Trying to prepare some like bishop f4, this kind of stuff, or even like e5 later. But anyway, I played the move b3, and at this point, black's probably doing fine if he plays correctly. Like if he castles, I don't think white has any special advantage, because I probably didn't play it in the best way. The thing is, though, when you sort of play something a little bit unusual, can't get your opponent out of book early, they're usually going to make mistakes at some point, because they're now on their own resources. They're not just using the, 1000 variation chess able course anymore. And so he plays bishop h2, which I was actually kind of quite happy to see here. I played a move of queen e2, and, it's not amazing if black takes and, has this position where, you have the bishop pair, but the bishop's stuck, and you've got these isolated pawns. It's not ideal, right? But it's still probably better than what happened in the game, because after castles, I played a little bit of a trick here. I played the move of e takes d5, and if you're wondering, well, Max, what if they just take the pawn? Well, that's where the trick comes in. I've got knight takes d5. hitting the queen, and when he takes, I just take the bishop and I win a pawn, right? So he plays bishop takes c3 first, trying to get out of it. If cd5, well, then I can mess up the pawns around his king. So he takes with the knight. Bishop e5, queen e7, c4, just kicking his pieces like soccer balls. And black's already in a very bad spot here. You know, the bishop's stuck, his pawns are weak. I can set up a pretty good attack on his king with the bishops breaking the board. But after bishop e7, I now have a chance to put that ball in the back of the net and just end the game. And the move that I found here, for those of you who are wondering, is the move of bishop to d6. To which my opponent simply resigned, because if he moves the queen away, I just take his rook and I'm up in exchange. But he can't take my bishop, because I just take with bishop h7, discover the attack, and win the queen and win the game. Which is why he resigned here. So I hope that you enjoyed this game, and it goes to show, you know, just because you're not spending like all day, every day, like on improving your chess. You know, I'm, you know, like you as well, an adult chess improver. Just happens that, you know, a lot of my work isn't like chess business, but like most of the time I'm not like, you know, working on improving my own game. It's more, you know, helping you guys improve yours with content like this. So if, you know, I can, you know, beat the best player in league chess, you know, with that, I think it gives hope that you can also improve your game and also beat good players by training your chess in the right way. Yeah. Alright, that's all for this training. Hope that you enjoyed a lot. I assume that you did, given that you watch all the way to the end. Thanks for that. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.